Let's get right to our panel. Angela Rye is a political strategist and principal of Impact Strategies. Ken Vogel is chief investigative reporter for Politico. Welcome to you both. Angela, she hasn't even declared herself a candidate yet, but the very idea that Ashley Judd may challenge Mitch McConnell in Kentucky has led to what feels like another round of gender politics. Do you think McConnell supporters would treat, say, George Clooney or Daniel Craig this way if they ran?
Well, Martin, what we know for sure is that there's always been some separation when it comes to gender in politics, gender in the workplace. We're seeing this play out across the board. With the president's first year, we saw the Lilly Ledbetter Act. So there are all of these inequalities that exist, and I think that it's up to us more progressive people and like-minded folks to really kind of push the buck here. Ashley Judd is a brilliant woman who happens to have some interest in the political process and has expressed that with or without this Senate seat. So I think that we need to see this play out, but they're definitely applying a lot of pressure, some of which is not fair, particularly when you look at what just happened to Mitch McConnell's wife. You would think that as a son, as a husband, and the father of 3 daughters, he would just really start drawing a line in the sand about what's off limits.
Good luck with that, Angela. Ken, is it possible that an Ashley Judd run might actually be bad for Democrats in that it would take the focus off Mitch McConnell and his blatant record of obstruction over the last 4.5 years?
Yeah, she seems kind of tailor-made for Mitch McConnell's campaign style, which is sort of slash and burn, make it all about the opponent, and make it extremely negative. There's a lot of fodder, and some in Kentucky privately expressed the view that maybe they would be better off, some Democrats, with a more unknown candidate who's more of a blank slate, and where the Republicans and McConnell's allies have to work a little bit harder to make the race all about the Democrat. That said, she would also be able to raise a ton of money, which could be used both by her campaign and by a super PAC supporting her campaign, to turn that around and try to make it all about Mitch McConnell, and as you put it, and as they would probably put it, his record of obstruction.
Angela, the conservative website The Daily Caller appears somewhat interested in Ashley Judd. Here is a small sampling of the steady stream of headlines about everything from her once dating Michael Bolton, the singer, to the fact that she's appeared nude in the movies, to cherry-picking comments she's made over the course, as I say, of a 20-year career. Can you explain how Ashley Judd is any different to other thespians like President Ronald Reagan or Fred Grandy or even the singer Sonny Bono, but for the fact that they were all Republicans?
Sure. Again, we addressed it at the top, Martin. You know, Ashley Judd is a progressive woman. She is a woman, and that is, for starters, the difference. It would be really great if the Daily Caller and others like it could focus less on her naked form and more about the issues of concern politically to Kentucky and otherwise. To Ken's point, you know, she will raise a ton of money. The DSCC could certainly utilize a candidate of her profile. We have to figure out how a strategist types how to get the numbers up and how to get out the vote in 2014, and that's certainly a way to do it. But yes, you know, she is an actress. We have members of Congress who serve in a variety of roles before they get here, some entrepreneurs, some farmers, some scientists and the like, and so they utilize their experiences as a foundation for how they develop policy, and I don't think that we should shun her or hold her accountable to being it in an art form. It's art.
Ken, to Angela's point, I don't recall Republicans being so angry when Scott Brown appeared with nothing but a very proud smile on his face in Cosmopolitan magazine.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a ham-handed attack, I think, focusing on anything related to her acting. However, there is a long paper trail there of comments that she's made, I should say maybe a long video reel, of comments that she's made as herself, tweets that she's made that I think do potentially provide some rich fodder for Republicans to cast her as, if nothing else, sort of different than the average Kentuckian, you know, talking about herself as progressively and delightfully radical, saying that Tennessee was home, which they have her on tape saying. Even recently in her appearance before GW, she talked about Bono, the U2 lead singer, saying that she wintered in Scotland. So I think there's a lot there independent from roles that she's appeared in, which I think are kind of a silly attack.
Gosh, shock horror. She holidayed in Scotland. What a horrible thing to do. Angela Rye and Ken Vogel, thank you both. Next, some movement on gun safety, while the NRA targets a whole new type of gun owner. Stay with us.
He says he wants to give the shotguns away to help test whether it helps reduce crime.
The original plan was to give out Batman costumes.